Okay. So fortunately, the recording has started. I forgot to record, but hopefully everything is being captured now. Right. So from here, let's open our Visual Studio Code. So for today's lesson, we're going to use something called media queries. So let's quickly read on W3 schools what our media queries are all about. So as you can see here, we have CSS media queries. The media role, okay, this is the introduction of it. So they tell you on which version of CSS it was introduced, but we are not interested in that. But the media rule made it possible to define different style rules for different media types. So you can read all of this, but we will be focusing on using the media rule to basically watch the viewport of the page and implement different styles based on the viewport, right? Because we are optimizing for tablets and mobile. So there is more to this than what we're going to be using it for, but you can read that on your own. So they explained almost everything you need to know about this media role, but we're going to be using this to alter the styles that we've already given to some of our layouts components to make sure that the website looks good on mobile and on tablets. Right, so this is how you write a media query. You can see here, you begin by writing @media. So here we are being specific that we want the media or CSS to watch for the screen, right? And then we're going to give it the value. So this is minimum width. So basically this is the property and its value. So we are watching the viewport. If the minimum width is this number, then we want to make these changes to our HTML page. Right, so I'm gonna use the very basic and bare bones media queries so that you guys can adapt and learn more as you go. And because this is quite this is very, very complex for other people, you know, screen, minimum width and all of that. So I'm gonna write this in a very simple way so that you guys can start there. And as you grow, as you get more experience with CSS, you'll be able to model your code according to what you guys like. So yes, so let's start there. So normally when I do this, I start so there's approach called mobile first, where the code that you write will focus first on mobile, and then you implement your media queries as the page grows. But for us, since we've already done this part, so this means we're going to take the approach called desktop first, because we already have this. So we need to implement the media queries for the other sizes, or for smaller sizes, basically. So let's see how we can do that. So another thing that I wanted to point out, my code here is not structured. So I want to implement something called layers first to make sure that my code is like we can minimize the code. So let me show you what I mean. There's something called a layer that allows me to basically minimize my code like this. For example, here we have global styles. So let me create a layer called global. So I'm gonna drag all the code that is in global styles, drag everything and paste it here. Now by doing this, I'm able to close this layer. You can see all the code is inside. So this will help me to minimize my code I'm not sure about other IDEs, but with Visual Studio Code, this is how it works. So every time I want to view the code for my global styles, um, I will just open this thing and I close it if I'm not working on the code for global styles. Now I can remove this comment because I can see the name from here. So I'm gonna do the same thing for my header. I'm gonna add a layer called header. So this will contain all my header styles, right? This will allow me to minimize, same thing for my hero styles. So I'm quickly cleaning up everything. Layer hero, paste it. So let me just remove all these comments because I no longer need the comments. Then put layer of trendy. Let me quickly, right? And then we have a product section, right? Layer products. Products. Great. Okay, great. Now I can just do this. Right. So here we have a body. Let me maybe try to use a media query to change the background for the body. Let's do that first so that you can see how media queries work. All right. So like I said that for media queries, you write add media, right? So what I normally do is that for a simple media query, I just provide the property and value. So I don't have to specify the screen and stuff. So basically by default, a media query is defaulted to screen. It's defaulted to screen. So if you can see here, there is this screen. So this is the default value, right? So if I just write it right like this and just give the width that I want, let's say maybe for screens with the width less than or equal to, let's do maybe 900 pixels, and say I want to change the background color for the body. So background color, maybe to red. Okay, let's see if this works. Let me go to my, right. So if sorry, if I decrease the size of the viewport, you see when I hit 900, now it changes the background of the body to the red color. So you can see that our media queries work. So let me quickly find out. Okay, so let me grab this from here. Um, 900, 744. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna give values here. So for tablets, for all the screen sizes below 900 or between 680 and 900, that should be our tablet viewport, right? So let me write another media query. So this is for mobile. So we just say width. Let me do 680. Then I say body, then background color, maybe to green, right? So let me do less or equal to. So this is perfect. So now you can see when we go down, this is our tablet and this is our mobile phone, right? So we maybe let's increase this a bit. Let's say 1000. right? So for all the screen sizes above 1000, we're gonna take that as desktop. So for all the screen sizes above, maybe let me decrease this to 580. Right, so you can see that from here, we are starting our mobile. Then above here, it's our tablet. Until this point, this is our tablet. Then we are on desktop. So now, since we've figured out these numbers, let's move on to the styling. By the way, there are recommended numbers for this. There are recommended values for the viewport and stuff. It's just that I didn't want to use the recommended stuff. So eventually you will find the recommended stuff. So let's say you write this small media query on top of the big one. Let's see if it works, because some people do that. Let's see. Okay. You can see now that for the small media query, the mobile one, it doesn't work because it is beyond this one. So what happens is that CSS, when CSS evaluates your code, it starts from top to bottom. So this will give a problem because now this will not be functional. So make sure that whenever you do this, the desktop first approach, you start with your larger viewport and you go down. So you're going down. If you start with if you do your mobile approach or mobile first approach, you're going to start with the smallest viewport and then you go up. So this is the trick. So make sure that you always get this right. So on top, if you are doing desktop first approach, you always start with a bigger media query, and then after that, you write a smaller media query. So you can't do it the other way around. So that's something to note, right? Okay, so now we can get rid of this because we were just using this to test. Now let's look at the text, because I love starting with text. So we already done this. So if you come here, by the way, we have this text. You can see here, this is 13. I don't think, okay, this is 13. So this is the same for all screen sizes. It's the same. It doesn't change. But for our H1, you can see here we have 40. But for larger screens, I believe it's 60. And then for very small screens, it's 35. So we need to alter these styles for our H1. So that's where we'll start. Right. Now, if you remember well, where is our H1? Let's look for H1. So I think it's under hero. Yeah, this is my H1. So we need to adjust the font size and the line height, right? So we will use these media queries that we've created here. Okay, let me close this. So we go here. Remember, we had this layer. This is our layer for our hero section, right? So we are under this layer. So we're gonna write the media query at the end of the layer, right? So we are adjusting the font size for our H1, right? And also the line height. So here, these are for screens less than 1,000 pixels, meaning that this is tablet viewport, right? So we are optimizing our heading one. That's the font size, optimizing the font size and also the line height, right? And the line height. Now let me get values again. So for our tablet, we have 40/40. So it's 40/40 line height and the size of the text. And for our mobile, we have 35/40, right? So I'm gonna copy this down to here because, sorry, this is for our mobile viewport, right? So we said for our tablet, it's 40 pixels and 40 pixels. So both of them are 40. And then for our mobile, we said it's 35 pixels, but the line height remains 40 pixels, right? So now we are done with our H1. So if you can see this heading, you can see that if I decrease here, at this point, it gets smaller. So this is our tablet viewport. And if I continue to decrease, it gets further smaller. You can see it's very subtle, but it does change size, if you can see. So this is our mobile one. This is our cell phone, right? So now we are done with our heading one. Let's move on to this text, right? So this is our next element. So we come here, right? So you see here we have this is 19 and 32, right? So we already did that. And then we have 14 and 19. Does it change? 12 and 16. Okay, it does change on both. So here we have 14 and 19 and 12 and 16. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to copy the media queries. I'm going to copy this because we're going to be reusing the same code. So I don't want to rewrite everything, right? So I think we did this under global. Did we do it here? Let me check. No, it's not here. Did we do it here? No, it's not. And it looks like we didn't have the styling for that one. Okay, let me see. Okay, so we didn't have the styling for this paragraph because it looks like we used the default styling. So let's change that. So we're going to style this one to, so let me give it a class name of hero description, right? It's hero description, and then I'm going to come under hero. Okay, so we already have media queries, so that's fine. So under here, I'm gonna write hero description, right? So do we need to provide this one? Let me see. So let's just provide the styling. It's 19 and 32. So we have font size of 19 pixels and line height of 32 pixels. Right, so okay, let me quickly change the color here to red because I want to see if we get an effect. Okay, so this works perfect. So let me remove this color. The reason I'm doing that is because sometimes you can misspell the name. So then you realize why it doesn't work. And there's a typo on your name. So the correct way to do this is to always copy the name here. So whatever name that you give to your class, you need to copy it and then paste it here, and then to ensure that the spelling is always correct, because sometimes you misspell and then you wonder why it doesn't work. Right, so we come here. So let me quickly grab this, and then we're gonna come here, we're gonna paste it here, and then we're gonna give the styles. Okay, so to make things simpler, let me copy everything because the only difference will be the values. So the block will be the same. So let me go to my design and find the values again. So for this one, we're going to have 14 and 19, and for mobile, it's 12 and 16. So it's 14 and 19 and 19. And then for mobile, it's 12 and 16. 12 and 16. Right. So we are done with this one. So let's see what else. And then the button, you can see here the button is way larger. But if you look here, you see that the button it's kind of small. So we need to also change that. So let me see here. So we have here, right. So another thing I'm gonna do here, let's see, we have the font of 17. And then here we have the font of 13. So let's find the button. Right. So let's go up. I believe that the button is under global. If I'm not mistaken, yes, we have a button under global. So we need to have these media queries here. Right, where do I have those media queries? These empty ones. Let me grab the empty media queries and then come here and paste them. Right, so for our button, basically we need to change the font size, and also the padding. Basically it's the font size. So let me change the font size. Okay. So here I'm gonna target my button and change the font size to 17 pixels for my tablet, and for my mobile, I'm gonna change the font size to 13 pixels. Was it 13? Yes, it's 13. Right. So let's go here and save it and see how it looks. So if I decrease here, you can see that the font of the button is changing. So we need to make sure that also the padding, because you see that the button remains large, but we need small padding here. So we need to adjust the padding also. Right, so for that, we need to specify or to specifically target the button for our hero section, because remember that these styles are for all the buttons, right? So you need to specify the styles for the button here, right? So this is where we set the padding for the hero button. So we need to adjust this also. So I'm going to copy this block of code and we're going to come to our tablet and paste this here. Right, so I think for our tablet, we have 20 at the, on top and 20 at the bottom. That's fine. We just need to adjust the left padding. So let me move this so we can see the button. So let me do maybe, let me do 30 and see how it looks. Right, so I think 30 looks fine to me. Or maybe try 15 here. Okay, this looks better. Right. So for tablets and mobile, the padding will remain the same. As you can see here that the padding remains the same, but the only thing that changes is the text size. That's why the button gets bigger on your tablet, and the padding, it gets way bigger on your mobile, on your desktop, because the padding is added, the padding of 80 and 80. So that's how this works. Another thing I want to point out is that if you change a style on your tablet, it will automatically affect your mobile. So this means that if you see that the style that you've altered here, you also want the same style for mobile, so you don't have to change because it will automatically affect the mobile viewport. Unless we want to change it for mobile as well, so you can come here and then reset the styling. But if it's the same, you don't have to worry, it will automatically adjust for mobile also. Right. So we are done with the hero section. Another thing to look at is that we see here that there is no space between the content and the edge of the browser. So we need to provide the space here. So let's look at the design and see how the spacing goes. So you can see here that we have the space of 24. So if you look clearly, there is 24 there. So we have 24 for tablets. And then for mobile, we have 20. So we need to deal with that also. Okay. So for that, we're gonna look at the container. Remember, we did the styling for our container. So container is responsible for making sure that the content it's at the center of the page. So we can add those margins or paddings to our container to provide that space. So this is the container, as you can see, right? So we need to add those here, right? So we're gonna target the container, and then we're gonna add the padding. Gonna add the padding left, right? Let's do 24 pixels because that's the space we had in our design. And then we also do padding right of 24 pixels, right? And then we're gonna do the same for mobile, but so I'm just gonna copy and paste this. We're gonna adjust the values. So we're gonna do 20 here, right? So let's look at our design. So you can see now that we have a little bit of spacing between here and the content because we adjusted that, right? Okay, so unfortunately, I'm running out of time. So we only have 4 minutes left. Yo, the time it's running very fast. And I thought we can do all of this in 40 minutes or 1 hour, but it looks like the time is running out, right? So another thing to note, we need a way to hide these items, because if you see here, we have this navigation and we also have this button, right? But from our design here, we don't have the navigation for tablets and mobile, and we don't have the button here. So the button is hidden. And we have a new button that is called the hamburger menu, so that we use to open and close the menu, right? So we need to hide this these buttons, right? So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go to our header. So we already have media queries, right? So our header have a navigation that we can target. So this is our header, right? So this is our navigation. So we need to hide this, and we need to hide this button also, both of them, right? So let me quickly give this a class of navigation, and this a class of hero button, right? So let me come here. I'm just gonna say navigation for tablets. This will be display none. This is supposed to hide it. So you can see that on tablets, this one is hidden and the navigation is hidden. So we can do the same for hero button. I believe this is the name I gave. and display none, right? Right, so you see that we don't have a button and the navigation here. So we can just design another button that's called the hamburger menu, and make sure that it is visible on our tablet and mobile. But we're not going to do that for this on this session because the time is about to run out, right? So that's how media queries work in a nutshell. Um, so I have only 1 minute left. So I'm going to share another link so that you guys can rejoin and maybe see where we can push this session to, because the time is already running out. So I'm gonna create another session. You guys, you rejoin that session also, then we can see um, if we can complete maybe these two sections. If we can complete these two sections and maybe do the other one as a homework or something. So guys, yeah, so let me quickly create another session and send you the link. So for now, goodbye, and I'll see you just now in a couple of minutes. Oh, another thing, I think this software will need to compile the video for you because I'm recording the video. So I'm not sure how long that will take, but after stopping the session, the software will need to compile the video and export the video so that I can get the files and be able to share the video with you. So until you see a link sent on the WhatsApp group, goodbye. Thank you.